Tottenham Hotspur have progressed through to the last 8 of the Europa League, and in this video we're going to be discussing how they did it, including a look as to how Micky Van De Ven might have just provided the fix that they so desperately needed. Every side misses their injured players, but no side misses their player more than Tottenham Hotspur miss Micky Van De Ven. His influence within this Tottenham Hotspur side is second to none, and I believe he is by far and away the most important player for Tottenham. Not Son, not Solanke, not Maddison, but it's Micky Van De Ven, because he is the backbone for what Ange Postecoglou wants to do. The line that they're able to play from a defensive perspective, the aggression that he has in the tackle, the ability that he has with his aerial presence to dominate those duels is so very important, and the knock-on effect that he had for this Tottenham Hotspur side was second to none. Jed Spence has a huge role to play in this setup, allowing for Maddison to drop a little bit deeper on occasion to link up with Bergvall in this game. This allowed Son to drift infield and then Spence to hold that width. Now all of a sudden what you've got is almost an overload in the centre of the park next to Dominic Solanke, where they're able to play 1-2s, create triangles and create different patterns of play to allow Tottenham to progress down this left-hand side, obviously AZ Alkmaar's right. But it was really the focus down this left-hand side that allowed Tottenham to really get into the game, and it was the orchestration for a lot of their goals, and this is all facilitated by the presence of Micky Van De Ven, because without him there, I really do think that Tottenham would be a completely different side, and in fact, we saw this against AZ Alkmaar in their first leg when Van De Ven wasn't fit enough to play. His aggression and his ability on and off the ball gives Tottenham that little bit more encouragement. It also gives license to Bergvall to play as the lone six. Now you might say that, well, he can play whenever a different Tottenham centre-back is there. I'm not so sure. I think having Van De Ven and Romero, to his credit, gave Ange Postecoglou the confidence to play Bergvall in the six, and he was rewarded with it throughout the game almost every single time Bergvall both got on the ball but also managed to find himself into different pockets of space. This gave Sarr the license to go forward. Now while he didn't have an offensive impact, I still think defensively he offered quite a bit. This gave Maddison a freer role as well, and all of a sudden when you see Tottenham playing, they had a bit of freedom about them. They had an ability to really drive through the thirds and create different opportunities. As I said, Son able to drift in field. Odobert, who got himself 2 goals in this game, was still able to connect some patterns of play. But again, all orchestrated by the physical prowess of Micky Van De Ven. Of course, Spurs still needed to go and win the game, and they got their first goal like this. You've got the AZ Alkmaar player on the ball currently. He's playing into midfield, but notice the starting position just off your screen of James Maddison, who we're going to be looking at right here. There he is. He's pressurising Koopmeiners here onto the ball, and that forces him to play a pass backwards. As this happens, it is a poor pass because he's being pressured by Maddison. Again, Maddison doesn't do this, and Tottenham don't do this if they're not confident enough to go forwards and create those pressing situations. The moment that these two players do not pick up on the ball, it gives Tottenham the license to go forwards, and Son begins to really start to pressurise. Solanke does this as well to try and hold out on the goalkeeper, and all of a sudden you've got Tottenham in a really positive position. The ball gets deflected onto Son, and it leads fortuitously over to Solanke, but again, he has to be there to be able to reap the rewards. As this happens, Solanke picks up the ball and notices the great run of Odobert on the far side. Now, although Odobert didn't have too much to do from an attacking position because they focused down their left-hand side, Tottenham, he still managed to get himself into these really good positions, and he is rewarded with a goal. Great vision from Solanke, great pressing from Son, and a brilliant Tottenham worked goal. But again, I firmly believe that if Micky Van De Ven wasn't in the side, this entire Tottenham setup wouldn't have the confidence to go and press with the belief that they need to be able to get those turnovers. Let me try to illustrate to you just how important Van De Ven is. As you can see, I've got 2 average position heat maps on your screen. So on the left hand side we have the first leg. Now this is with Danzo and it's with Archie Gray. Notice the positioning they've got. It's actually not a bad line, to be honest, but it's nowhere near as high or as good as the second leg where Van De Ven plays. And this has a huge knock-on effect to the amount of space that Tottenham are able to take from not only an aggressive point of view, but also from an attacking point of view. Notice how much higher these players are in this second leg, and this is a knock-on effect from what Van de Ven is able to provide for this side. His recovery pace is absolutely second to none. His aerial presence is pretty fantastic, and it gives this entire Tottenham side the encouragement and the real confidence to go forwards. It also means that because they're playing a higher line and because they're not necessarily going to be always onto goal, it condenses the space a little bit more and finds the opposition in a difficult position to be able to play through the lines. Tottenham are far more spread on this one, whereas in the second one they're far more compact, even though they're playing at a higher point in the pitch. All of this, or at least most of this, I believe, is due to the huge knock-on effect that Micky Van De Ven has on this side. And this for me is a great example as to the impact that Van de Ven has on this Tottenham side, and why I believe his inclusion within this setup in this game was a huge fix for Tottenham and allows them to progress the ball forwards the way Ange Postecoglou wants, and also to be able to defend the goal the way that Ange wants, with that little bit of risk and with the solidity that Van de Ven provides. So you've got Alkmaar progressing the ball down the left hand side. It's been turned over, which means that Porro is out of position. This forces Romero's hand and means that he needs to come across, but that in turn leaves space for Van de Ven to have to cover. Now, this amount of speed that Van de Ven has gives him the license to be able to give the Alkmaar player a little bit more time and space, but you've got confidence in Van de Ven to be able to stop this progression from happening, as he does right here. He in fact uses that aggression to force back the Alkmaar player, even though he's been in possession, but it gives Tottenham Hotspur's defenders enough time to be able to make those recovery runs and get themselves in a decent defensive position. They're now here, and Van de Ven continues his aggression. Look at this. Look how good this is from Van de Ven. It forces the ball backwards and gives his side the time they need to recover. Now watch Bergvall, because he's going to make a great interception for this pass over to Koopmeiners. The moment he makes that interception, Tottenham are on their way because of the amount of players that Alkmaar have committed forwards. But again, if Van de Ven isn't there, this can't happen. The ball gets played down the left-hand side and Son starts to go. Now, once Son is on his bike, you're not really going to stop him, are you? He progresses down the side and then starts to drive at this Alkmaar defence. Now, although this really fizzles out and Tottenham don't manage to create anything from it, I just thought it highlighted the impact that Van de Ven has on a regular basis and the confidence that it gives his side to not only recover, but also to be able to go back the other way. This second goal, I think, is exactly what Ange Postecoglou wants from his Tottenham Hotspur side. The ability to be aggressive, to win the ball back and transition forwards super fast. And it happens right here. So you've got Pedro Porro picking the ball off of this Alkmaar player, and it comes over to Odobert. Now Odobert is able to drive forwards with the ball and give himself a better opportunity to take that space. And then what do we have here? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 players driving forwards, capitalising on those players from Alkmaar who have committed themselves forwards, and it gives Odobert the ability, time and space to drive forwards. But again, you've got a lot of Tottenham players committing forwards. Even though Solanke isn't in this particular attack, you've still got 1, 2, 3 players ready to go forwards and ready to take that space. Maddison passes it over towards Son, who's driving forwards on this left-hand side. Again, Tottenham focus a lot down their left, and they really reap the rewards. Son is about to shoot, but sees that Maddison's in a better position because he's got 2 players here just in front of him who are going to block the shot. Really good heads-up play by Son, super good from Maddison, and as he plays it over, Maddison is able to just fling the ball in, and it becomes 2 goals to Tottenham. Really well done, transitioning with an instant and with a huge amount of determination and quality. So good. Of course, Alkmaar get a goal back, and I find it a little strange that only 2 minutes after Micky Van De Ven gets substituted, Alkmaar managed to score. The ball gets played down this right-hand side for Alkmaar, Tottenham's left, and it's a long raking pass down this right channel for Alkmaar. Here is Archie Gray, the player that's come on for Micky Van De Ven. Now, I'm not for 1 second having a go at Archie Gray. I really like him as a player. I just don't think he's a centre-back, and I think this highlights the impact that Van De Ven has had on this Tottenham group in this game, because In this particular example, I think Van de Ven deals with this pretty comfortably, and even if he doesn't, I think he's got the pace and the recovery speed and the real physical aggression to be able to stop this Alkmaar player, or to be able to stop this Alkmaar attack within seconds, I think, and really stopping that progression. But Archie Gray does a good job of shuffling the player back, and here from then on, it's an unfortunate moment because the ball gets really haphazardly mixed up with these Tottenham players. You've got Odebeer unfortunately passing it through to Bergvall, who ricochets it off Odebeer, and it all gets a little bit messy, and Alkmaar are able to go and score. But again, I don't think that progression happens without with Micky Van De Ven in the side, and without him, it's just a little bit easier for Alkmaar to get at Tottenham, and they did look somewhat vulnerable. It just shows the impact that this player is able to have on this side. And again, guys, for not 1 second am I having a go at Archie Gray. I think he's absolutely phenomenal. It's just that it's a bit different having a main out-and-out centre-back, including one of the most impactful players that you can have in your side, missing. Nothing against Archie Gray. I just think that Van de Ven is that good. And to their credit, with their backs up against the wall, Tottenham managed to stand tall and get that winner, and this is how they did it. So you've got James Maddison really deep in his own half. He's going to pick the ball up, make a really good dummying turn to get the Alkmaar player away from him, and then take this space that's been afforded to him from the Alkmaar press, from that commitment forwards, and once that happens, the game is really, really open. Maddison is able to then pass through over to Spence and over to Son, and you see the progression of the ball happen really quickly here. It goes down this left-hand side. It's super, super good. Again, Tottenham really focusing down that left. It was a huge effort from them. Son picking the ball up here, and then what's really good is that Jed Spence doesn't stop his run. He's able to then follow this and take this area right here. Super good, and it's taking advantage of the players that have been committed from Alkmaar down that side. Again, Spence able to make a good overlapping run, and then once he's able to do that, it's then about a huge amount of quality, not only from Spence to play the cross in, but also from Dominic Solanke. I think he means this, and he's able to just spin and backheel it to keep the movement going, to keep the moment going, to keep the move going. It's so very important and so crucial, and it ends up falling to Odebeer, who gets his second. Again, just rewards from being able to go from out to in, making sure that he's getting a presence into the box, making sure he's able to be there to get his side a goal, and that's exactly what happens right here. It's so well done, and Tottenham get their goal and progress through to the last 8 of the Europa League. So important, so well done, and very, very crucial. But again, without the backbone of Micky Van De Ven, I'm not quite sure they would have been able to get into the game. It just shows how important he and the rest of these Tottenham players are, and how much they need to step up going into those final moments. But of course, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below on Tottenham, and how well you think they're going to do in the Europa League. Are they going to win it? Let me know. Thank you ever so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something new, and I hope to see you in the next one. But until then, my friends, take care.